as usual, this is Aspire Naginata Dojo, and this is our regular practice, well, inside while we are doing lockdown. So if you know anyone who would benefit from getting off the sofa and you want to share it with them, please do so. If anyone that you know wants to teach a class, regardless of the level, and wants to volunteer, please put them in touch with me as well. So we get a good diversity. Right. So today I'm doing the teaching, and I thought I would pick a specific subject, and that is how to score a point in Naginata. So we're going to go through a series of different types of pointers, if you like, that makes it possible when you combine them to actually score a point. It's not as easy as it seems, so I've got a little list of all the things that we're going to do. And I'm going to just focus on one strike, which is Sune. So that's the leg strike for who is just joining us. And the reason why we are doing that is because it's the easier one to score. Okay, that's the one that gets the more points scored in general. If we have more time, I'm also going to explain some differences between Sune, which is a strike where we actually cut, and Tsuki, which is one when we thrust here in the well, neck area. And Itsune, which is actually hitting with the back of the Naginata, so the part that doesn't have a blade. So that's if we have more time, okay? And then we'll end up the session by having some questions and answers if people want to ask anything. So yeah, that's the format for today. We're gonna do a quick warm up so that we don't pull a muscle. Just if you are injured or anything, just do the part that you can do. Don't force yourself, it's not worth it. Okay, right. So, first things first. Hey. Okay, just rotate the hips. And the other way around. Okay, now the same sideways. Okay, now we're gonna take the knees and do the same. Rotate one direction. And the other direction. Okay. Now one foot in the front, one foot in the back, and stretch the back leg. Okay, the other way around. Okay, and sideways. And the other side. Okay, all the way down. And the other side. And in the middle. Okay, try to open so that you stretch these muscles. Okay. And on the side. Okay, arms backwards. And forwards. Okay, and stretch one shoulder. And the other side. Okay, put your elbow up. And the other side. Oops, I'm going to close my lap. Okay, shoulders and back. And elbows. Okay, hands. Okay, stretch it out. And the back. Okay. Rotate the head. And the other direction. Okay, stretch one side. Stretch the other side. All right. Right, ready to start. First of all, I'm gonna explain a couple of things. First of all, because we have people who are really new, we are going to re-explain how to do Sune, because that's the first and only thing that we are gonna do today. Okay, so I wasn't planning on having very beginners, so I'm gonna take something, I'm gonna take a broom or a stick. Let me find something that I can demonstrate with so it's more visual, because I don't have an Naginata. One moment. Okay, that should do. If I can remove this somehow. No. Okay. Yeah, that should do. Okay. So first things first. If you're joining us from the first time, take whatever you can that looks a bit like a stick. So from Shizentai, which is this position, I'm gonna actually put myself in larger. So you can pin the video and have it as a speaker view, so you can have it in bigger. Right, so from this position, you want to put your left hand on top of the other one. So first of all, when you're in Shizentai, your wrist is on your hip bone. So wherever you feel that your bone is, that's where you want your wrist to stand. You need to take your Naginata on top of the other hand, and the lower hand slides, okay? I'm going to take that a bit lower because it's not the right side. And so it slides, and you step with the left foot forward, okay? So at the moment, I am facing forward with one hand in the shoulder width, but then everything a little bit forward, okay? So in the joint of the hip, okay? All right. If you see the hands, the way I'm holding it, It's diagonally, and then close the hand around it so it's in elongated position, okay? So if you would grab your naginata from the top, that's how your hand should be, okay? So makes a V shape like this, not this, okay? Makes a V shape, right? Okay, so from this position, we are gonna do asso. So I hope I can do it with that because it's really, really small. So I'm gonna put the back hand inside of the front hand, okay? And then the other hand slides, and I'm in asso, okay? So in asso, one of my hands is on the hip bone, and the other one is next to my ear level, okay? If you look at it from the front, the naginata is in front of you, so it would be longer usually, okay? So imagine it would be protecting you. And then on the top, it is not behind your head, okay? It's slightly out so that you can actually strike directly, okay? I'm just gonna have a look at people who are doing this for the first time at the moment. If you have any problem, let me know directly so we can just fix this because that's the exercise we're gonna do from the start, okay? So from Chudan, this position, I'm gonna change my hands. Back hand slides into the other one, and then asso, okay? I'm here, okay? So if I show you that from the front, 1, 2, one hand here, the other one is here, okay? And from here, we're gonna do sune, so it's a strike at the leg. So when I say the leg, is between your knee and your ankle, so somewhere here in the middle, okay? So from here, the lower hand is doing the strike, the other one just goes straight to the target, sune, okay? When you finish, the back hand is in the center of your body, and the way you need to think of it is the naginata needs to be against your arm, okay? So if it would be a normal size, it would be like this, okay? Like ending here. So it should be against your arm, and in a way that if it's as low as possible, that it's still against your arm. So here it's stressed out, okay? You don't want stressed out. You want a relaxed shoulder, and then low enough that it's still against. If I relax it more, then suddenly it's not glued to my elbow anymore. So that's not good. You want it to be glued to the elbow, but the shoulder as low as possible, okay? And then the front hand, of course, is, I'm gonna say stretched out, but it's not overstretched, okay? It's relaxed. And then in terms of the feet, I don't know if you can see because there is not much light here. So my front knee is a bit bent, but it's never bent enough that the knee passes the toe. So if you are like here, it's too much. So that's the maximum you want to bend, okay? Otherwise it's too much. And the other one is stretched. Okay, so let's do that from the start again. So asso, and then from here, the lower hand is doing the power. So it's kind of gripping, if you like. It's kind of rolling like this motion with your wrist so that it goes forward, okay? And the other one just follows, sune. Okay, then chudan, and skip back. Okay, then we change hands this side. Okay, on the hip, next to the ear, and sune. Check your position, chudan, sugi shato. And again, asso, and sune. Chudan, sugi shato. Okay, let's do 10 times. So, asso, this thing is really small. Sune. Chudan, sugi shato. Asso, 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 Sune, Shudan, Suyesh. Aso. Sune, Shudan, Suyesh. Okay, I think everyone's doing fine. So I'm gonna keep adding little details, okay? The reason why is because we're gonna improve on this so that it makes a valid strike, so Yuko Datotsu, okay? So there are several criteria. When people talk about a valid strike, if you see the definition, there are different things that they talk about, and then there are the other things that they don't talk about. So we're going to just cover a general aspects of it. So first of all, you want to hit onto the target. That's quite obvious. So in this case, Sune, so it's between the knee and the ankle, somewhere in the middle there, that's where you want to hit. You can hit either one side or the other. Both are valid, although when we do some striking exercise, we always encourage to hit on the outside. But the inside is also a valid strike, okay? Also, you want to hit with the monouchi. So what is the monouchi? If you look at the naginata, okay, let me take a blade because, again, we have very beginner people in the room. Okay, I'm explaining from scratch today. So if you have a naginata and you see the blade, I only have the blade, I don't have the naginata. Anyways, you can see that at one point it's kind of curved. It's not very straight. You see also, if you look at it from the top of it, there is a little line here. You can see the joint in the bamboo. So this part here where it starts curving, that's the monouchi. That's where you want to hit with, okay? You want to hit with this part of your naginata, okay? So, right, so you want to hit with the monouchi. You want to have good spirit and posture. Posture, we are gonna talk about it right now. You want to do kiai. So kiai is when you scream the name of the target while you are doing a strike, okay? And you want to do zanshin. What zanshin is when you are ready to do another strike, if you like. It's like a follow-up on the strike after the strike, okay? So those are the basic criteria. Now I'm gonna separate them one by one. First of all, you want to have a good posture. So good posture in naginata. We're gonna do specifically for sune, okay? And so in this case, once you are in sune, you don't want to be straight in sune, you want to be a little bit forward because you're bending your front knee, okay? So that's one thing. So you want this to happen. So you can see now the line is inclinated. Before I was straight, and now I'm a little bit forward, okay? That's a normal posture for sune. Also, when you look at it from the side, you don't want to be like this, okay? That's not good. You want your butt to be underneath your shoulders, okay? Something else that people do a lot in naginata is that when they do sune, they actually put their knee crossed with the naginata. You don't want that. You want to open up from the hips so that your foot is facing almost forward, and so that you do have a posture that is, front-facing, if you like. I don't know if anyone has a naginata in the room and can eventually demonstrate the position to people who don't have one. So if you look at people who have a naginata, let's have a go. So try to be in this position that you can show with a naginata. Yeah, exactly. Sarah, yeah, perfect. Try not to put your mouth always in, and the front knee facing forward. So no, not like this, but forward. I don't know if you can see, but I hope yeah. Okay. So that's correct posture in general for sune. Okay. Also, what you want to do is make sure that your hand is finishing in the center line. You see a lot of people kind of doing this or trying to reach out. This is coming for two reasons. One of them is either they don't move their feet far enough, and basically they don't reach, so they are trying to reach and they do this, okay? You don't want that. If you are in that position, because you need to move forward more, okay? So from here, just move both of your feet forward. We're gonna come to that in a minute. So how to do that? If you have this problem when you do Naginata, you want to do assault, and then from here, if you look at the feet, I'm gonna just show you the feet, because we're gonna focus on this point right now. You don't want your heels to be on the floor, okay? So if you look at it, I don't know if you can see because there is not much light here, but my heels are just off the floor. They're not really touching, okay? They're almost on the floor, but not on, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing, as soon as you're in assault, you want to, as you are starting to rotate your hips, you want to push on the front leg so that you can propel yourself far enough. What this means is that by the time you do this, both your feet will be moving, okay? So if I'm showing you that from the side, if I'm putting myself against the wall here, maybe you can show. So press on the front foot and swing, and then both feet move, okay? I'm gonna show that the other side, okay? Press on the front foot, both feet move, okay? So that's something that you want to do, so that you can cover the distance, okay? If you don't press on your foot, if you just think about hitting, a lot of people do something like round like this, okay? I'm exaggerating now. So that's not what you want to do. What you want to do is go in a line as straight as possible forward, okay? Forward, okay? Not sideways. You cannot cover any ground like that, okay? And move both feet forward, okay? So that's to correct people who are actually doing something like that. If they are doing something like that, it's because they are just not covering enough ground in the first place. Now you have people who are finishing like this. So what happened to these guys? Well, it's usually because they are holding with the front hand. The reason why I'm saying that is in order in Naginata to control the height, you can slide up and down this hand, yeah? It makes sense. So this one, the back one is the one making all the strengths, and the other one kind of helps control the direction and the height. But if you're holding it with this hand, then you cannot slide it. I don't know if it makes sense, but if I'm holding it, then, and the other one is the one loose, then I cannot slide the front hand. It's not physically possible, yeah? So why I'm saying that, I know it sounds obvious, but you want this hand, so the bottom hand, to do the strike. So you want the bottom hand to do a movement like this, okay? And the reason why is, and then it's holding, you're holding it with the bottom hand, and the other one, it can slide slightly, so you can adjust the height so that it hits the sune height on your opponent, okay? If you're holding it with that one, and then you cannot slide it, in order to reach the place, people just compensate with their back hand, going up. So that means not only is it the wrong posture, they also don't reach the target because you need to move way further to actually cover the ground that you are losing because your hand is in the wrong position. Okay? So, two things now that we are going to do in the next few sunes that we're going to do. The first one is move forward enough with the footwork, and the second one is use the bottom hand so that we can do the strike with the bottom hand so that the other one can slide, okay? Those two things we are focusing now. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so assault. Now push on the front foot, and bottom hand does the striking. Okay, don't forget to move both feet. Chidan, Suge, Chateau. Asso again. Check you have a correct asso. Now, bottom hand, front foot, push on the front foot, straight, sune. Okay, and back. And again, asso. Lower hand, front foot, push. One, sune. Asso. Sune. So, back, so, okay. Let's do a few more. I'm going to have a look at what everyone's doing. So, asso. Make sure you're moving both feet and make sure that you are going to go straight forward, okay? And not around. Okay, this foot, straight line, as if you were shooting a ball, okay? Hop. Okay, good. So, okay, so this seems to be fine. So let's pass to the next little bit that we're going to correct for Sune today. So the next thing is you want Sune to go straight to the target. So a lot of people do something like this. So basically they're going to cut the grass around it, okay? You don't want to do that. You want to be as efficient as possible, and so you want this, the blade, when it's there, to go straight to the Sune, okay? You don't want to go around. The most efficient bit is the best. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna pretend we're gonna punch the Sune with the front hand, okay? So we're doing the strike with the back hand, but then the front hand punch Sune. So, okay? So let's give it a go. Sune. Straight to the strike. So when I say straight, okay, let's have a look at the asso here, because I can see most people do the same thing. So let's say you are in asso. So your hand is here near your. I know I'm kind of on my knees here, so it's not ideal, but okay, I think it's close enough. So my hand is next to my ear, and the elbow is kind of relaxed enough. Well, up but relaxed enough. So if I'm like here, it's not good. If I'm like this, it's not good either. Okay, so kind of up but not stressed out. I see some people doing this kind of movement before they go. So you don't want to do anything with this hand. This one just go forward. What you don't want is to do anything with this hand. So what I can see, either people doing this before they go, or people doing this. Okay, you don't want the elbow to do anything. You just need to follow. So basically, if you look at if there is a line in my hand and the line at my elbow, my hand is always in front of my elbow. Okay, always in front. There is never that my elbow is in front of my hand. Okay, always straight. Just push. Well, push. You don't do anything with it. You just go forward. Okay, so forward to the target. Okay, let's try again. So from here, this hand, the lower hand does the movement, and then the other one straight to the target. If you want, you can just open your hand like I'm doing, so you're sure you're not putting any stress. Okay, at the moment, just so you don't feel the need to do anything with it. Okay, one more time. Okay. Let's do the other side. And again, I'm going to show you this side. I'm going to leave the hand open just to make sure that I'm not doing anything with it. Okay. Of course, normally you're holding it, but you're holding it very lightly. Okay. This is just not doing anything. It's just there. Okay. So again, and think of it as okay. That's the target. I'm going to send my hand straight to it. One more time. Straight, palm, target. target. So, and now straight to the target. Up. Don't forget to move both feet forward. One more time. So, and there. Okay. One more time. Don't go around with your feet. Okay. Feet go forward. Forward. Come. Okay. I think we're just gonna do a little bit of footwork before we do anything with it. Let's put down the Naginata for a minute, and let's just do footwork for a second. Okay. So from here, sideways in Chudan position. I forgot, we have newcomers, so I'm gonna show you, hopefully you can see. Can you see? I'm gonna put the lamp a little bit down. Okay, so hopefully you can see better now. Okay, so my feet are one to the front and the other one sideways, okay? If I look at it from the front, okay, one is to the front, but not completely to the front. Basically, it's your small toe is facing forward. So I'm not like this, forcing my knee. I'm just like a little bit in, okay? And then both of my heels are on the same line, okay? When I say on the same line, they're not exactly aligned like this, because otherwise it makes everything very hard. They are just about the distance of a Naginata away from the same line. Okay, so slightly out, not this, but this, okay? It's very slight. So that's the normal Chudan position. Then you want both heels to be up. So you can feel the floor just with this part of your feet, okay? Just this part on both feet is what you have on the floor, okay? So that's to start with, okay? Let's resume. So, starting position from Chudan. Now, rotate both hips, rotate the hips to the front. Now I'm with both feet facing forward, everything facing the front wall. I'm pushing on my front foot and then recuperating the foot sideways. Okay, so I rotate my hips again. Rotate, push on the front foot and change side. Okay, one more time. Take as much space as you can. Rotate, one, push, two. Rotate, push on the front foot, two. Okay, do as many as you can in one leg, so I don't have much space, so I'm gonna go back. One, push, two. One, push, two. One, push, one. Okay? Right, now let's do the same with the Naginata. One more time. So, okay, as we go, rotate, push, and sune. Don't hold the front hand, okay, just slide. Again from Aso. Rotate, press, sune. Okay. Yeah, I think that's getting better now. Okay, let's do another couple. Aso and sune. Aso and sune. Okay, don't pass by the side. Don't forget to go straight to the target with your upper hand here. So this one straight to the target, straight. Come. Okay. And again, straight to the target. Don't make sure you're not doing anything like this. Okay. The hand, if you look at it from the side, straight to the target, straight. Not this and then this, okay? Or not around. It doesn't do anything else than go straight. So don't, if it's helping you, don't hold the front hand, the upper hand. Okay, straight, come. So, and again, straight. Yeah, getting better. Okay, one more time. So, straight forward. So, and straight forward. Okay, Yeah, fine, okay, that's getting better. Now, I don't know if anyone is doing any ki at the moment. I have neighbors, so I'm gonna do one. So, and then I'm gonna stop there just to demonstrate one thing that is important in terms of showing your spirit when you are doing a strike. You want to do the ki at the same time as you do the strike, yeah? So you don't want to be, it needs to be recognizable that it's the name of the strike, in this case, Sune. I'm not very good at that, I'm working on it, because usually people don't recognize, although I am saying Sune, I swear, people are not necessarily recognizing it like this, so I am working on that. But ideally, you want it to be recognizable that you say Sune, and you want to make it loud and sharp, okay? So not Sune or dying at the end. But Sune, okay? Sune, something that is loud and sharp to make sure that when you do the target, when you hit the target, you do the Sune at the same time. So if you can, I know everyone is on mute, but if you can, let's try a couple of that. Okay, and then we're gonna stop doing the ki because I have got neighbors downstairs. Okay, so from Asso, snap, and back. Asso, snap, and back. Okay. Right. Okay, so I cannot hear anyone because we are all on mute, but I'm sure everyone's doing their best to do it correctly, so I'm gonna assume. So definitely that's something that you need to think about, okay? So we covered where we are hitting. We covered how people don't hit the target because they don't move their feet. We covered how people don't hit the targets because they are holding it with the wrong hand. So basically it's getting too short. Right, so now we know how to make it straight because now we go straight with the hands directly to the strike, okay? So these things we covered. Right, one thing that you want to do when you are striking, one of the main things that you need to think about is that everything is together. And I say together, it's called Kikentai Ichi. It's common with most martial arts, if you do another martial art as well. You need to have the strike, you need to have the ki and the body, and basically everything needs to be at once, okay? What does it mean in Naginata compared with other martial arts? It means, in case of Sune, well, in case of everything in Naginata anyways, that when you hit, what needs to happen is your back foot is finishing moving when you strike, not the front foot, okay? Why am I saying that? Why? Well, because if the front foot is hitting now, then I'm still moving and my naginata is sliding on the target. Okay, so there is no way that this is gonna be a point because it's sliding down, you don't cut, okay? So you don't want to touch or you don't want to slide, you just want to make a clean cut. Okay, so it needs to make that kind of impact sound, like, especially on Sune because it's bamboo against bamboo, so it's really easy to recognize the sound. So what you want to do is finish when the back foot finishes. Let's try to focus on that for a minute. So let's do a few of that. Very slow motion. So, pump. Okay, again. Okay, make sure it's finished. Everything finished when the back foot, strike when the back foot is recuperated. Okay, asso, pump. Asso, sune. And again. Asso, sune. Asso, sune. Okay, so that's when basically your naginata is not going to slide on the target when you're going forward. Now, a lot of people do the zanshin too early. Zanshin is when you go back to the original position, okay? When striking backwards. So, if you strike Sune backwards, you'll see that, or on the spot. So let's say, in terms of what I'm doing with my feet, I don't know if you don't see my feet. I'm gonna just show my feet. Right. So either you do forward, backwards, or you do backwards, and then you want to come back to a normal position, so Chudan Sugir Shato. If you do the Chudan Sugir Shato too early, what happens is that from here, if you don't stop first, Sune, and then go, but you do it in one go, then it slides off the target. Okay? So I don't know if you understand. If you don't understand, let me know. Okay. So if you're doing one strike, perfect, Sune, and then Chudan Sugye Chateau, perfect. That works. If you do 1, 2, and already go back, it's sliding off. Okay, so that doesn't work. Okay, so that's something as well. So we know why it's sliding when you go forward, and we know how to correct the sliding when it goes backwards, okay? So it's the same thing. You want to finish, we're gonna do forward, backwards. Forward, backwards. You want to stop here before you do Chudan Sugye Chateau. Okay, let's do it. So from Aso, forward, backwards, finish everything at once. Chudan Sugye Chateau. Now I'm gonna go again. Aso, forward, backwards, Chudan Sugye Chateau. Okay, Aso, forwards, backwards, Chudan Sugye Chateau. Aso, forwards, backwards, Chudan Sugye Chateau. Okay, all right. Something else we're going to talk about now. How to do Zanshin. There are, I'll say, a few ways to do Zanshin, but if you're just starting out, I suppose the easiest way to look at it would be to go back to the initial position so that you can do another strike. So be ready to do something else. In the meantime, in the time that between the strike and the time that you go back to the initial position, you need to mean it. What I mean is not, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. I think it's easier. So I'm striking Sune, and then I'm kind of losing the energy there, okay? What you want to do is, and then, and you want to really mean it. So an example I give, I used to teach some kids when I was in Belgium, in our club, and the way I'm explaining to them, I don't know if you've seen Ice Age, but then the squirrel at one point is looking at one of the other animals, and he does something like that, you know? Well, that's the feeling you want, okay? So by the time you go back, you want to have that feeling. It's like, yeah, I'm looking at you, okay? So we're gonna try a couple of that. So Sune, and then mean it, we go backwards, but the spirit is still going forward, okay? So again, Aso, and watch it, okay? Again, Aso, it's really small, okay? Aso, I'm gonna get rid of that for a second because I think it's too small. Aso, okay, yeah, nice. Okay, yes, that's perfect. Okay, very good. So now we're going to talk about the bit that people don't talk about in the definition of how to do Yuko Datatsu. And that is how to actually make the right sound. Because there is a little problem with just hitting the targets and doing the Zanshin and doing the Kiai and everything at once. Okay, that's great. If you can do all of that and it's a beautiful Sune, is still not enough. Why not? Because you are missing the tenouchi, okay? What is tenouchi? I'm gonna drop the fake naginata again. But tenouchi, to achieve it, basically what you need to do is to squeeze gently and relax. When do you need to squeeze? Is when you are just about to hit, okay? So if I'm doing a slow motion here, okay, now, pump. What did I do now? One more time. So, by the time I'm going to recuperate my back foot, now, pump, and relax. When I say squeeze, I mean like a gentle, just this, okay? Just this. Both hands, pump, 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 pump. You don't want to squeeze all you can out of it, okay? It's just gentle squeeze, pump, 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 pump. Let's try. Okay, so from here, by the time you recuperate your back foot, squeeze, pump, and back. Awesome. And up, and back. Awesome. 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 Make sure you squeeze exactly just before you hit, just before you get your back foot in place, okay? Just now, thumb. Okay, and squeeze, relax. Okay, right. I hope everyone now can do a sune properly with all these details. I'm gonna just demonstrate a couple of things that I think are important when we talk about Yuko Datotsu, so valid strikes. Because these are hits where we actually cut, okay? Now I'm gonna show you one when we thrust, which is the tsuki. And then I'm gonna show you one where we hit with the back of the naginata. But let's just start with that one. So if you would hit with the back of the naginata, I don't have a naginata with me at the moment, but you would hit with about 20 centimeters away from the back of the naginata, okay? That's where you would hit with. So if I would be close, there are two things that people get wrong in the isune. And it's isune because it's with the ebu, which is the back of the naginata, okay? Two things that people get wrong is, first of all, a lot of people hit the knees, okay? Second of all, a lot of people are either too close or too far away because they don't adjust the height and distance. If you're at a normal distance for sune, this is the perfect distance. Well, if you finished your sune, this is the perfect distance. You're about 2 meters away, is a perfect distance to actually do isune, okay? What you want to do is, the backhand can slide, you want to pull it with your front hand in order to have it finish with the front hand in the joint of your leg, okay? So from here, forward, pump. And you want to lower your center of gravity. So both my knees, both my knees are bent here, pump. Okay? So, the reason is, if I'm like here, you can see the naginata is kind of with a very big angle. Okay? If I'm doing this, it's almost horizontal. So the good thing is I have an easier way to hit the target because there is not that much space where I can hit. So if it's lower, I can actually hit the target within the sune without risking to hit the knee, okay? That's one thing. So both down, okay? and you want to be closer. So when you are here from the sonnet, that's actually a good time to do this sonnet because you are closer already. Or you can make up the distance anyway, like, okay, you were in some kind of strange forward position, and then from there you decide because you're too close to do sonnet with the back, that works as well, okay? But you need to be closer than the normal sonnet, okay? So those are two things to really think about. In terms of the Zen chain is the same thing, so basically snap and then go back, or snap and then go back. Okay, so there is not much difference, it's just same follow up, just make sure that technically you don't get anyone hurt when you do that. Don't try this in a competition if you have not practiced this before, okay? I'm saying that because a lot of people try things in competition because they think it's cool, but it's not cool, it's just gonna hurt somebody. Okay, the second one where a lot of people get injured because they don't know how to do it is tsuki. Okay, so we're gonna just look at how to do it tsuki properly. I'm just flying over this just to kind of see the differences with the sune we did before. So, first things first, if you are just learning to do tsuki for the first time, from Chudan, you want the front hand to slide up until the kisaki, so the point of your naginata, is pointing at a place that is about your height, okay, about your neck height, or about your opponent's neck height, okay? In this case, your neck height. Okay, so slide the front hand, and then push with the back foot and move forward, okay? At the moment, we're gonna just do a couple of that. So let's try again. So 1, 2, and back. 1, 2, and back. 1, 2, and back. Okay, so if you are looking at it normally, of course, if you change the distance beforehand to do the tsuki, you will want to stay in Chudan as long as you can, and then the last movement, okay? So the hand is going to do this really at the last moment. What you don't want to do is people just trusting. That is not tsuki, okay? What you want to do with your back hand is just putting it here in the center, and the other one helps the naginata point at the throat of your opponent. So point and trust. What is it? Trust? I mean, just put your hand in the middle, okay? There is no stabbing in naginata. Again, the way I was explaining it to kids is, first of all, okay, kids, not that small kids, don't forget that you cannot do tsuki in a competition if you are not at least first dan and at least 18 years old, okay? Just to remember that. So not very small kids. The way I was explaining it to the kids was, you know, when you switch on a light switch, you just put your hand on the button and then you press, yeah? It's the same with tsuki. That's the only thing you want to do. You do not punch the light switch, okay? Nobody does that. It is the same feeling, okay? You want, by the time you do, I'm pushing on my back leg. By the time I'm doing this, I'm touching the other one's throat, and by the time I'm recuperating, and the recuperating is about 5 centimeters here, that's the only thing that I'm pushing, and I'm already on his throat. So by the time I'm recuperating, I'm not trusting, I'm just pushing. Okay? So let's try a couple of these. So I'm pushing and I'm touching the other one's man, and then recuperating, I'm pressing him back, okay? And the hand stays in the center, and back, okay? Slide up while you're doing the first foot, and push. Now in one go, 1, 2. 1, 2, and then Chudan Sugeshito. 1, 2, Chudan Sugeshito. 1, 2, Chudan Sugeshito. Okay? Alright. Right. I think that's all I wanted to say about these two because they are so different from all the other strikes. if you have the one for Sune, it's valid for most strikes. Whether you're doing men, whether you any of the other strikes, it will be about the same concept. So this should kind of sum it up. I just took Sune because it's the easier one, the easy one to score. Okay. For Tsuki and for Isune, again, this is something that you don't want to try without having practiced with someone in your dojo. So don't try this at home. It's just mainly to explain the differences to what we've been doing before. Right, if there is any question, you can unmute yourselves and let me know. Is there anything you want to ask or anything that is unclear?
Yes, for the what you show just now, I didn't understand very good the what I have to do with my legs. First,
the Tsuki, you mean?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay.
Go first or
for the Tsuki, because for direct strikes in general, so if you do straight man, straight Sune, or Tsuki, you want to push yourself on the back leg. Okay, so again, so if I'm showing the legs for a second. So again, from Chudan position, both heels are up, and then for any straight strike, you want to push yourself on the back leg, so press. Okay, but by the time you press, by the time you push here, you want to point. By the time you recuperate, you want this hand to be in the center so that you just press the other one, your partner, okay? So by the time you push, you're already pointing, so press, pump. The only thing you need to do is push with your back leg. If you push enough, your back leg will recuperate on itself. It's not something that you need to think about as, it's not walking, if you like. In Naginata, there is no walking. So for example, I don't know if you can see, but if I'm gonna do something forward, I'm gonna push on my back leg. And because I pushed, my back leg recuperates. So if I show from the side, I push on this leg, it recuperates. If I do something with asso, I push on the front leg and it recuperates. Push on this one. And because I push, it comes with me. It is not something that I'm doing separately, if you know. Yeah?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Yeah?
Just unmute myself. No, it's the tenouchi. Now you've been sort of the whole squeeze on impact thing.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, right, when you say squeeze on impact, it's just like punching, isn't it? Where you only tighten when you actually hit the thing and then relax afterwards.
I have no experience on punching people, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Well, for those who've done like unarmed stuff, it feels, because I've been trying to figure it out, right? Because you've been trying to explain it to me for years. I've never really gotten it, but now that we spent extra time looking at it, right? It's your hand is loose anyway until you actually impact, it tightens, and then you relax. Same thing when you hit it. Squeeze.
They're very loose. So both of them are loose, so that I can actually move the naginata inside my hands. Both hands, they don't really hold the naginata more than this in general.
Yeah.
But when you are tightening it, you just tighten and loosen. Pum pum, pum pum.
Yeah.
It's just a little squeeze. It's just, you know, you just do this. You don't have to squeeze any juice out of it. You know, there is no.
Oh yeah. You don't either when you punch. I guess what I'm trying to say is is my logic the same, as in am I reaching the same conclusion? Because essentially you keep your fist loose. When you tighten it, you got, right, your arm stiffens up for that 1 second and then you just release, because you can't do that when you're trying to
you release right after strike.
Just release right after, right? Yeah.
It's just a very quick squeeze. It's just, you don't hold it.
Yeah, it's like, gotcha. I think I'm beginning to conceptually get it.
It's going to do twice the impact. Tac, tac.
Yeah.
If you try to do that on a target, I don't know if people have targets at home or a dummy or practice on something, you'll see that if you stiffen up, you will have two sounds.
Yeah.
Anything else? No?
Oh, yep. Can I ask what's your weight distribution when you finish a strike?
Well, in general, you want to be able to move all the time. Okay, so you don't want to be stuck in any position that that you cannot move afterwards. Whether you want to make another strike or whether you want to go backwards afterwards. So also it depends on the strike really. So if I'm doing sune, I'm having almost 50-50, slightly more on the front because of course because I bend it, I'm slightly more forward, but so the weight distribution is a little bit forward, but as much as you can, try to keep it equal on both feet so you can move any direction afterwards. I think the main thing to focus about is where your back foot is finishing when you recuperate it. I would say, to me, underneath your butt. So if you do a normal sune like in Kiran, so Kiran being the basics, you want this leg to be kind of stretched. I'm saying kind of because it's kind of relaxed, it's not overstretched. But in Shiai, I always try to put it slightly more in, then it's underneath my hip bone, and then I can do another strike after, otherwise I'm kind of stuck. So textbook, you should be with the legs more apart a little bit, and basically then it's to the point where my front leg is taking more weight. But if I'm doing Shiai is fighting for people who just join us, I'm putting it slightly more in so that I can actually move afterwards and do something else. It gives you more flexibility in the movement. But then again, that's kind of personal. Textbook, it should be as much as you can 50-50, but of course, because you are leaning forward, it's going to be a bit forward. Right. Any other question? No. Well, then I'll leave you to that. I don't have anyone else booked in for next week, so as long as, so if someone volunteers, very well. If not, I will be the one teaching the next lesson as well, and so on and so on. Yeah. Anyways, stay safe, everyone, and see you all next week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. See you next week.
Bye.